Imagine reaching for a common remedy, something millions trust every day, only to find out later that it was silently damaging your brain. New research is sounding the alarm. Many popular over-the-counter medications and natural cures could be quietly increasing your risk of dementia, especially if you're over 60. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 10 remedies you thought were safe, but could actually be putting your memory, independence, and future at risk. Stay with us, because what you learn today could protect not just your brain, but your entire way of life. The hidden danger behind natural remedies. Why seniors are most at risk. Everywhere we turn, we're bombarded with advertisements promising quick relief, natural cures, and miracle supplements. For seniors, who often deal with multiple aches, sleep troubles, or memory concerns, these promises can sound like a lifeline. But what few people realize is that many so-called natural remedies are anything but harmless. In fact, some of the most trusted solutions on pharmacy shelves, and even in health food stores, can trigger subtle but devastating changes in the brain over time. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to this hidden threat because of natural shifts that happen as we age. Our bodies process chemicals differently. Our blood-brain barrier, the shield that protects our brain from toxins, becomes weaker with age. And our brain cells themselves become more sensitive to inflammation and chemical interference. That means a medication or supplement that seems minor to a younger person could have much more serious consequences for someone over 60. Take, for example, the belief that if something is natural, it must be safe. It's a comforting idea, but it's often dangerously wrong. Certain herbs, like kava or valerian root, which are marketed for relaxation and sleep, have been shown in studies to impair memory and cognitive function when used regularly. Worse, because these products are not as tightly regulated as prescription drugs, the actual dose and purity can vary wildly from one bottle to another. This inconsistency means that seniors could unknowingly expose themselves to high levels of substances that interfere with neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow brain cells to communicate. Over time, this disruption can contribute to confusion, memory loss, and even early signs of dementia. Compounding the problem is the fact that many seniors use multiple remedies at once without realizing the cumulative effect. A sleep aid here, an anti-anxiety herbal tea there, a pain-relieving supplement added on top. Each one alone might seem minor. Together, they create a chemical cocktail that can overwhelm an aging brain. Studies have confirmed that polypharmacy, the use of multiple medications and supplements, is one of the top risk factors for cognitive decline in older adults. And because symptoms like forgetfulness, disorientation, and brain fog can creep up slowly, many seniors and even their families fail to connect these issues to the remedies they're using daily. It's also crucial to understand that the marketing language around these products is often misleading. Words like doctor recommended, clinically proven, or natural can create a false sense of security. In reality, some clinically proven claims are based on very small studies, often funded by the supplement companies themselves, and doctor recommended might mean a few doctors out of hundreds. Seniors, trusting these endorsements, may continue using products for years without questioning their true safety. Meanwhile, silent changes are occurring in the brain's structure. Reduced synaptic density, increased oxidative stress, and impaired blood flow, all early hallmarks of cognitive disorders like Alzheimer's disease. Adding to the risk is that many seniors may not report their use of supplements or over-the-counter remedies to their doctors. They assume that because these products are available without a prescription, they must be safe to use without supervision. But without knowing what a patient is taking, doctors cannot predict dangerous interactions, nor can they warn patients about risks that might be compounded by existing conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or previous strokes. Even something as seemingly innocent as an over-the-counter cold remedy can have anticholinergic properties. Blocking acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter crucial for memory and learning, and gradually erode mental clarity when used over time. Perhaps the most chilling part is that early signs of remedy-related brain changes can mimic normal aging. Mild forgetfulness. Occasional trouble finding words. A few misplaced items. Because these issues are so common among seniors, they often go unreported or are brushed off as just getting older. By the time more serious symptoms emerge, like difficulty navigating familiar places, confusion about time or people, or major memory gaps, significant damage may have already been done. And because the cause is not immediately obvious, treatment often focuses on managing symptoms rather than addressing the root issue, stopping the remedies that are silently attacking the brain. In truth, protecting brain health after 60 requires a different approach than it did at 30 or 40. It means being far more cautious, skeptical, and informed about what we put into our bodies. It means recognizing that even substances sold with the best intentions can have unintended and irreversible effects on an aging brain. And it means having honest, ongoing conversations with healthcare providers about every single remedy we use, whether it's a prescription drug, an herbal supplement, or a common over-the-counter fix. The good news is that awareness is power. By knowing the risks and staying vigilant, seniors can avoid many of the most common traps and protect their most precious asset: a sharp, vibrant, and independent mind. Antihistamines, sleep aids, and other over-the-counter dangers for the aging brain. For millions of seniors, a good night's sleep can feel like a rare luxury. Insomnia, restless legs, nighttime pain, and anxiety often drive older adults to seek quick fixes at the drugstore. Rows of brightly colored boxes promise peaceful sleep and allergy relief with no need for a prescription. But what many don't realize is that tucked inside these promises are ingredients with powerful effects on the brain, and not always in a good way. Among the most concerning are medications that have anticholinergic properties. These are substances that block acetylcholine, a vital chemical messenger involved in learning, memory, and attention. When acetylcholine levels drop, brain cells have a harder time communicating, and over time, this can lead to measurable cognitive decline. Diphenhydramine, a common ingredient in popular sleep aids and allergy medications like Benadryl and many PM formulas, is one of the biggest culprits. It's marketed as safe for occasional use, but repeated exposure, especially in seniors, has been linked to a significantly increased risk of dementia. A major study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that people who used high anticholinergic drugs for extended periods had a 54% higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who did not. What's even more alarming is that the damage appeared to be cumulative. The more days of use, the greater the risk, even if the doses were small. For seniors who pop a nighttime sleep aid several times a week, or even nightly, this adds up frighteningly fast. Beyond sleep aids, common over-the-counter cold and flu remedies often contain anticholinergic ingredients as well. Products designed to dry up a runny nose or suppress coughing may seem harmless, but many of them also block acetylcholine and subtly erode memory and processing speed with regular use. And because these symptoms tend to emerge slowly, a little more forgetfulness here, a little more mental fog there, they often go unrecognized until significant impairment has occurred. Seniors, in particular, may attribute the changes to just aging rather than realizing that the very remedies they trusted are contributing to their cognitive decline. Sleep itself becomes another vicious cycle in this story. Poor sleep is a known risk factor for dementia, and struggling seniors often turn to these over-the-counter solutions out of desperation. Yet the very medications they use to achieve a full night's sleep may, in the long term, sabotage their brain health even further. Research has shown that deep sleep, particularly slow-wave sleep, is critical for the brain to clear out waste products like beta-amyloid, the toxic protein associated with Alzheimer's disease. Anticholinergic drugs, by interfering with natural sleep architecture, reduce the amount of restorative sleep a person gets, compounding the risk of cognitive disorders over time. It's not just the obvious sleep aids that pose a danger. Many seniors rely on bladder control medications, anti-nausea drugs, and even muscle relaxants that contain strong anticholinergic agents. Oxybutynin, often prescribed for overactive bladder, has been found to double the risk of dementia with long-term use. Medications like meclizine, used for vertigo or motion sickness, carry similar risks. When multiple anticholinergic drugs are combined, say, a bladder medication plus a nighttime allergy pill, the overall burden on the brain skyrockets, even if each medication alone would seem manageable. Doctors are increasingly aware of these dangers, but public knowledge lags behind. Many people still assume that anything available without a prescription must be relatively safe, especially if it's been on the market for decades. Unfortunately, The aging brain is far less resilient than a younger one, and substances that seemed harmless at 30 or 40 can cause serious problems at 70 or 80. What's worse, the marketing of these products often minimizes or entirely omits mention of the cognitive risks. A senior reaching for a gentle nighttime sleep aid might have no idea they are slowly undermining their own mental sharpness with each use. Even when seniors do consult their doctors, conversations around over-the-counter remedies are often rushed or incomplete. Physicians might focus on prescribed medications during appointments, unaware that their patient is also regularly using anticholinergic sleep aids, cold remedies, or allergy pills. Unless seniors and their caregivers proactively bring up every medication and supplement they use, dangerous interactions and cumulative effects can go unnoticed until symptoms become severe. Regular medication reviews, ideally conducted at least once a year, are critical for uncovering hidden risks lurking in bathroom cabinets and bedside tables. The solution isn't to suffer through sleepless nights or allergy attacks without relief, but to find safer alternatives. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, has been shown to be as effective as sleep medications in many studies, and without the brain-related side effects. For allergies, non-sedating antihistamines like loratadine are much safer options compared to older, anticholinergic drugs. Techniques like mindfulness meditation, relaxation exercises, and improving sleep hygiene can dramatically enhance sleep quality over time without relying on chemicals that impair the brain. But all of this begins with awareness, understanding that even small, everyday decisions, like which pill you take before bed, can have enormous consequences for brain health in the years to come. Ultimately, protecting the brain from remedy-related damage is about taking control. It's about reading labels carefully, asking hard questions at the pharmacy, and not assuming that common equals safe. Seniors have the right to solutions that support both their physical health and cognitive vitality. By staying vigilant and informed, it's possible to navigate the landscape of over-the-counter medications more safely and keep the mind sharp, strong, and resilient for many years to come. Herbal supplements that sound healthy, but could harm your memory. When it comes to health and wellness, few things sound more appealing than the idea of using nature's own remedies to heal the body and mind. Herbal supplements are often marketed as gentle, safe, and free of the harsh side effects associated with prescription drugs. Seniors, in particular, are drawn to these products as they seek to manage symptoms like anxiety, insomnia, arthritis pain, or memory lapses without adding to an already heavy medication burden. But just because something is derived from a plant doesn't mean it's harmless. In fact, several popular herbal supplements have been linked to serious cognitive side effects, including memory loss, confusion, and an increased risk of dementia, especially when used over long periods. One of the most commonly used herbal supplements among seniors is ginkgo biloba, often touted as a memory enhancer. It's found in capsules, teas, and even fortified foods. Yet despite its widespread reputation, the scientific evidence supporting ginkgo's benefits is shaky at best. A major study called the Ginkgo Evaluation of Memory, GEM, study, which tracked over 3,000 seniors for nearly a decade, found that ginkgo biloba did not prevent dementia or slow cognitive decline. Even more concerning, because ginkgo can thin the blood, it can increase the risk of strokes and microbleeds in the brain, both of which are major contributors to cognitive deterioration. Seniors who take ginkgo, particularly alongside blood thinners or other medications, may inadvertently be increasing the very risks they hoped to reduce. Another herb often viewed as a natural relaxant is kava, traditionally used in the South Pacific to promote calmness and social ease. Kava supplements have been embraced in the West for anxiety, stress relief, and sleep support. However, multiple studies have connected kava use to liver toxicity, and some researchers have raised alarms about its impact on cognitive health as well. Chronic use of kava has been associated with cognitive dulling, slower reaction times, and memory problems. Some researchers suggest that kava may interfere with glutamate signaling in the brain, a key pathway involved in learning and memory, though more studies are needed to fully understand the risks. Still, the evidence we do have should give seniors pause before making kava a regular part of their wellness routine. Valerian root is another herbal favorite for those struggling with insomnia. While valerian is generally considered safer than pharmaceutical sleep aids in the short term, its long-term effects on the brain are not well understood. Animal studies have suggested that chronic exposure to valerian compounds could alter neurotransmitter levels and sleep architecture. Because deep, restorative sleep is crucial for brain health, and disrupted sleep can accelerate cognitive decline, any substance that tinkers with sleep patterns carries potential long-term risks for seniors. Furthermore, valerian can interact with other medications in unpredictable ways, sometimes amplifying sedation or leading to greater confusion and cognitive impairment during the day. Even seemingly benign supplements like St. John's wort, often used for mild depression, carry hidden dangers. St. John's wort affects serotonin levels in the brain and can interact with a wide range of medications, from antidepressants to blood thinners to cholesterol drugs. These interactions can not only reduce the effectiveness of important medications, but can also create dangerous spikes or drops in neurotransmitter levels. In older adults, whose systems are less resilient to chemical imbalances, these fluctuations can manifest as cognitive fog, mood swings, or more serious psychiatric symptoms that may mimic early dementia. Beyond the specific effects of individual herbs, there's also the problem of quality control in the supplement industry. Herbal supplements are not regulated as strictly as prescription medications, meaning that what's on the label may not match what's in the bottle. Independent studies have repeatedly found contamination with heavy metals, pesticides, or even entirely different plant species than what was advertised. These impurities can themselves be neurotoxic, compounding the risk to seniors who are seeking to improve their health but end up introducing harmful substances into their bodies. Worse still, seniors who are taking multiple supplements at once, for sleep, memory, joint pain, and mood, may unknowingly be creating complex chemical interactions that strain the brain's delicate balance. Marketing often plays heavily on the trust people have in the word natural. Pictures of lush green fields, ancient wisdom symbols, and reassuring phrases like safe and effective are carefully designed to bypass skepticism. But nature is not automatically benign. Some of the most powerful toxins in the world, from hemlock to deadly nightshade, are entirely natural. Seniors must remember that safety depends on rigorous evidence, proper dosing, and careful monitoring, not just the source of a product. And when it comes to cognitive health, the stakes are far too high to take chances based on marketing promises alone. Safer alternatives do exist for many of the issues seniors hope to address with herbal supplements. Cognitive behavioral therapy can be more effective than herbal sedatives for insomnia. Regular exercise, social engagement, and brain-stimulating activities have all been shown to boost mood and memory more reliably than herbal pills. Anti-inflammatory diets rich in fruits, vegetables, and omega-3 fatty acids can provide gentle, cumulative benefits to brain health without the risks posed by poorly studied supplements. Seniors should always consult their healthcare providers before adding any new herbal product to their regimen, especially if they are already taking other medications. In the end, the pursuit of better health is noble and necessary, but it must be guided by caution and critical thinking. Herbal supplements may promise quick fixes, but when it comes to safeguarding memory, independence, and cognitive vitality, there are no shortcuts. A careful, evidence-based approach, grounded in science rather than marketing, is the best defense against the silent threats hiding behind the natural label. Protecting the brain requires not only nurturing it with positive habits but also shielding it from substances that could, however unintentionally, cause lasting harm. The truth about brain boosters and memory supplements that backfire. In a society where memory lapses are feared almost as much as physical frailty, it is no surprise that brain boosters have become a booming industry. Especially for seniors, who may worry about staying sharp enough to manage their independence, the temptation to reach for a bottle that promises mental clarity can be overwhelming. Advertisements bombard older adults with messages that frame memory decline as a choice, implying that with the right supplement, they can outwit aging itself. But despite the shiny packaging and confident claims, the reality behind most brain boosters is far less reassuring. In fact, not only do many of these supplements fail to protect against cognitive decline, but some may actively impair brain function, creating the very problems they claim to prevent. One of the central issues is the way brain boosters are marketed versus how they actually behave in the body. Many popular supplements contain a cocktail of ingredients like ginkgo biloba, bacopa monnieri, huperzine A, omega-3 fatty acids, phosphatidin, and vinpocetine, with labels touting phrases like clinically proven or scientifically formulated. Yet a closer look at the studies used to justify these claims often reveals small sample sizes, short trial periods, and a high risk of bias. For example, vinpocetine, an ingredient derived from the periwinkle plant, has shown some blood flow enhancing properties in early research, but has also been linked to low blood pressure, heart arrhythmias, and increased bleeding risk, particularly dangerous for seniors on blood-thinning medications. Instead of being a brain elixir, vinpocetine could silently introduce new cardiovascular and cognitive risks without delivering on its promises. Another danger is the unregulated potency of many cognitive supplements. Unlike pharmaceuticals, supplements do not require FDA approval before going to market, and manufacturers are not obligated to prove efficacy or even consistent dosing. Independent tests have repeatedly found that brain supplements often contain much more or much less of active ingredients than advertised. For seniors, whose systems are more sensitive and less resilient, these inconsistencies can have serious consequences. An overly potent dose of a stimulant-like compound might cause anxiety, insomnia, or increased blood pressure, while a subtherapeutic dose provides no real benefit, lulling users into a false sense of security as cognitive decline continues unchecked. Furthermore, some compounds popular in brain boosters, such as caffeine derivatives or synthetic nootropics like phenylpiracetam, overstimulate the central nervous system. While they might temporarily increase alertness, they do so at a cost. Over time, they can exhaust the brain's natural chemical balance, leading to crashes, irritability, memory impairment, and even neurotoxicity. Seniors who rely on these boosters daily may be inadvertently hastening the very mental fatigue and confusion they hope to avoid. Research shows that chronic overstimulation of the brain's reward and alertness circuits can lead to oxidative stress and inflammation, both major contributors to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Even seemingly harmless ingredients like omega-3 fatty acids, while beneficial in the right doses, are sometimes megadosed in brain supplements without proper medical supervision. High levels of omega-3s can thin the blood excessively, heightening stroke risk in susceptible seniors. It's a reminder that more is not always better, especially when it comes to complex, sensitive systems like the aging brain. Additionally, stacking multiple supplements with overlapping ingredients, a common practice among those chasing maximum cognitive benefit, multiplies these risks dramatically, often without the user even realizing it. What makes brain boosters especially insidious is the emotional marketing strategies behind them. Commercials and product websites often feature testimonials from seniors who claim miraculous recoveries. They remember names better, solve crossword puzzles faster, and even feel decades younger. But these testimonials are anecdotal, not scientific evidence. They play on deep-seated fears about losing autonomy, dignity, and self-identity. Fears that make older adults particularly vulnerable to slick sales pitches. In reality, no supplement has yet been scientifically proven to prevent dementia or restore youthful cognitive function in seniors. Leading experts in neurology and geriatrics repeatedly emphasize that there are no shortcuts, no miracle cures, only careful lifestyle choices and management of risk factors. Another often overlooked hazard is how supplements can interact with necessary medications. Many seniors already take prescriptions for heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, or blood pressure. Adding brain boosters without a doctor's knowledge can lead to dangerous drug interactions. For example, Huperzine A combined with certain antidepressants could cause a dangerous excess of acetylcholine, resulting in nausea, dizziness, seizures, or severe confusion. Bacopa monieri, another common nootropic ingredient, can intensify sedation when used with tranquilizers or sleep aids, increasing fall risk, which is already a major health threat to older adults. Safer, evidence-based alternatives to brain boosters do exist. Numerous studies have shown that regular physical exercise, particularly aerobic exercise, significantly boosts brain health by improving blood flow, reducing inflammation, and stimulating neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. Cognitive stimulation through activities like reading, puzzles, learning new skills, and social engagement has also been shown to build cognitive reserve, making the brain more resilient against age-related decline. A Mediterranean-style diet, rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, fish, and healthy fats, provides powerful neuroprotection that no supplement can match. Good sleep hygiene, stress management, and regular medical checkups are also foundational pillars of cognitive health that require no pills and pose no hidden dangers. Ultimately, when it comes to preserving brain power after 60, the smartest move is skepticism. If a supplement's promises sound too good to be true, they probably are. Seniors deserve strategies grounded in real science, not in marketing fantasy. The brain is too precious, too irreplaceable, to gamble on unproven, poorly regulated products. By choosing time-tested lifestyle habits over trendy pills, seniors can build a strong defense for their minds, not through false shortcuts, but through sustainable, meaningful action that nurtures both body and brain for years to come. Painkillers and anti-inflammatory remedies. How they quiet pain but cloud the mind. Pain is one of the most common and debilitating challenges that seniors face. Whether it is from arthritis, old injuries, surgical recoveries, or general wear and tear of aging joints, chronic pain can take an enormous toll on quality of life. Naturally, many seniors reach for solutions that promise relief, hoping to restore a sense of normalcy and function. Over-the-counter painkillers like ibuprofen, naproxen, and acetaminophen, as well as prescribed anti-inflammatory drugs and opioids, are among the most commonly used remedies. Yet few realize that while these medications can quiet physical discomfort in the short term, they can also introduce a new and less visible danger over time: cognitive impairment. For seniors, managing pain should never come at the cost of losing mental clarity. Yet the hidden risks of these common remedies are often overlooked in conversations about brain health. One of the first culprits is a class of medications known as nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, which includes ibuprofen, naproxen, and aspirin. These drugs are widely used for their ability to reduce inflammation and pain, but their long-term impact on the brain is complex and not always protective. Some early research suggested that NSAIDs might reduce the risk of Alzheimer's by lowering inflammation in the brain, but more recent and larger studies have cast doubt on that theory. In fact, prolonged NSAID use in older adults has been associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular events, kidney damage, and even microbleeds in the brain, particularly when combined with age-related changes in blood vessels. Microbleeds can impair brain function subtly over time, leading to memory issues, difficulty concentrating, and even early signs of dementia without a clear warning signal. Opioid medications present an even more direct risk. Drugs like hydrocodone, oxycodone, morphine, and fentanyl are powerful pain relievers but also potent depressants of the central nervous system. While they may provide critical relief for severe or end-of-life pain, chronic use of opioids for ongoing conditions has been linked in numerous studies to cognitive impairment, mood disturbances, and an increased risk of dementia. Opioids reduce brain plasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and adapt to challenges, a critical function for maintaining cognitive health in later life. They also suppress breathing during sleep, leading to hypoxia, reduced oxygen supply to the brain, which can quietly damage brain cells night after night without immediate symptoms. Over time, the cumulative effect of these disruptions can result in significant declines in memory, executive function, and attention span. Even acetaminophen, often considered the safest over-the-counter painkiller, is not without risk when used long-term. High doses can cause liver damage, which in turn affects the brain through a condition known as hepatic encephalopathy, a decline in brain function that occurs when the liver cannot adequately remove toxins from the blood. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to this condition because liver function naturally diminishes with age, and the margin for safe dosing becomes narrower. Symptoms of hepatic encephalopathy can include confusion, forgetfulness, personality changes, and impaired coordination. Symptoms that are often mistakenly attributed to aging or early dementia rather than the underlying toxic buildup caused by excessive acetaminophen use. Adding another layer of complexity is the phenomenon of polypharmacy. Seniors often take multiple medications simultaneously, including blood pressure drugs, diabetes treatments, antidepressants, and others. Painkillers, when added to this mix, can interact unpredictably, sometimes amplifying cognitive side effects or causing metabolic changes that further burden the brain. For instance, Combining NSAIDs with certain blood pressure medications can increase the risk of kidney dysfunction, which, like liver dysfunction, can lead to cognitive problems through toxin buildup in the body. Similarly, opioids combined with sedatives like benzodiazepines can drastically increase the risk of profound sedation, delirium, falls, and brain injury from head trauma. Perhaps the most insidious danger is that painkillers mask symptoms that would otherwise alert seniors and their caregivers to deeper health issues. A senior taking opioids daily may not realize they are developing subtle cognitive deficits because the medications blunt not only physical pain but also mental sharpness. Early signs of cognitive decline, such as trouble finding words, difficulty following conversations, or struggling to plan activities, can be hidden behind the fog of chronic medication use. By the time more severe symptoms emerge, significant and sometimes irreversible brain damage may have occurred. Yet for seniors living with chronic pain, simply discontinuing painkillers is rarely a viable option. The challenge is to find safer ways to manage pain while minimizing risks to brain health. Non-pharmacological therapies like physical therapy, acupuncture, massage, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and targeted exercise programs have shown promising results in reducing pain without the cognitive risks associated with medications. Cognitive behavioral therapy for pain, CBTP, helps reframe the experience of pain, reducing its impact on mood and daily functioning without the use of drugs. Even dietary changes aimed at reducing systemic inflammation, such as eating more omega-3 rich foods, cutting out processed sugars, and increasing antioxidants, can provide meaningful, sustainable relief over time. It is also crucial for seniors and their healthcare providers to periodically reassess the necessity of all pain medications. In many cases, doses can be reduced, medications can be rotated to minimize side effects, or alternative therapies can be introduced to complement pharmacological approaches. Regular monitoring of liver and kidney function, careful tracking of cognitive symptoms, and open conversations about all medications and supplements being used are essential strategies to safeguard brain health while addressing legitimate pain needs. In the end, pain management must be seen as part of a holistic strategy for aging well, not a separate problem to be solved at any cost. The brain and body are deeply interconnected, and every choice made in one area ripples outward into the others. Seniors deserve pain relief that supports their full humanity, not solutions that quietly steal away their independence, memory, and personality. With careful planning, informed choices, and a commitment to balancing relief with long-term well-being, it is possible to live with less pain and more clarity, preserving both physical comfort and cognitive vitality into the later decades of life. The smarter, safer path: how to protect your brain without risky remedies. After uncovering the hidden dangers lurking in so many common remedies, the question naturally becomes, if not these, then what? The good news is that there are proven, safe, and effective ways to protect brain health without exposing yourself to the silent risks of over-the-counter drugs, herbal supplements, or trendy nootropics. These strategies are backed by decades of scientific research and offer a holistic, sustainable approach to preserving memory, focus, and mental clarity well into the senior years. The smarter, safer path to brain health isn't about chasing miracle cures. It's about embracing habits and choices that nourish the brain naturally, strengthen cognitive resilience, and reduce the risk of dementia in meaningful ways. One of the most powerful, evidence-backed tools for protecting the brain is physical exercise. Regular aerobic activity, such as brisk walking, swimming, or cycling, has been shown to increase hippocampal volume, improve vascular health, and stimulate the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a molecule that supports the growth and survival of neurons. Studies consistently find that seniors who engage in regular physical exercise experience slower rates of cognitive decline and a reduced risk of developing Alzheimer's disease compared to sedentary peers. Even modest amounts of movement, as little as 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, can yield profound benefits for brain health without a single pill or supplement. Nutrition is another cornerstone of brain protection. Research shows that diets rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, fiber, and anti-inflammatory foods create an environment in the body and brain that is less prone to damage and disease. The Mediterranean diet, in particular, has emerged as a gold standard for cognitive preservation, emphasizing vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish like salmon and sardines. Specific nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish and flax seeds, have been linked to better memory and slower cognitive aging. Leafy greens such as spinach and kale are rich in vitamin K, lutein, and folate, all associated with sharper thinking skills. Rather than chasing isolated supplements, building a colorful, plant-focused plate ensures a steady supply of the micronutrients the brain needs to thrive. Equally important is the role of sleep in maintaining cognitive health. Sleep is not simply a passive state of rest but a dynamic period when the brain consolidates memories, clears away metabolic waste, and resets itself for the day ahead. Chronic sleep deprivation, common among seniors, has been linked to increased levels of beta-amyloid and tau proteins, two pathological markers of Alzheimer's disease. Adopting good sleep hygiene practices, such as maintaining a consistent bedtime, creating a dark and cool sleep environment, avoiding screens before bed, and limiting caffeine intake late in the day, can significantly improve sleep quality and, by extension, cognitive function. Where sleep disorders exist, seeking professional evaluation and treatment is crucial, rather than relying on over-the-counter sleep aids that may exacerbate cognitive risks. Social engagement also plays a vital role in protecting the aging brain. Humans are inherently social beings, and maintaining strong social ties provides mental stimulation, emotional support, and a sense of purpose, all factors that have been linked to lower dementia risk. Participating in group activities, volunteering, attending community events, or simply maintaining regular contact with family and friends can create a cognitive buffer against the challenges of aging. In contrast, social isolation and loneliness have been shown to double the risk of developing dementia. For seniors, investing time and energy into relationships is not merely a matter of emotional well-being. It is a critical pillar of cognitive health. Challenging the mind through lifelong learning is another potent way to build cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to adapt and compensate for age-related changes. Learning a new language, playing a musical instrument, engaging in puzzles and brain games, or even exploring new hobbies like painting or gardening stimulates neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable capacity to form new neural connections. Studies suggest that seniors who pursue intellectually stimulating activities are significantly less likely to develop dementia, even if they carry genetic risk factors. The key is to choose activities that are genuinely engaging and slightly challenging, pushing the brain out of its comfort zone in enjoyable ways. Managing chronic health conditions is an often overlooked but essential part of brain preservation. Hypertension, diabetes, obesity, and high cholesterol are all known to increase the risk of cognitive decline by damaging blood vessels and promoting inflammation. Seniors should work closely with healthcare providers to monitor and control these conditions through lifestyle interventions and, when necessary, medications tailored to minimize cognitive side effects. Regular checkups, medication reviews, and proactive disease management form the foundation for keeping both body and brain functioning optimally as the years advance. Another often underestimated factor is stress management. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, a hormone that in high levels can damage the hippocampus, impair memory, and increase the risk of depression and anxiety. Incorporating stress reduction techniques such as mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, Tai Chi, yoga, or spending time in nature can have profound effects on cognitive health. Even short daily practices can lower cortisol levels, improve mood, and enhance mental clarity over time. Finally, seniors must become their own best advocates when it comes to brain health. This means questioning marketing claims, reading ingredient labels carefully, consulting medical professionals before starting any new treatment or supplement, and prioritizing interventions backed by strong scientific evidence. It means recognizing that no single pill, remedy, or product can replace the cumulative power of daily choices made consistently over time. True brain protection is not something that can be bought off a shelf. It is cultivated through intention, education, and a commitment to nurturing every facet of health, physical, mental, emotional, and social. By embracing these smarter, safer strategies, seniors can not only guard against dementia but also enrich their lives with vitality, purpose, and joy. Cognitive health is not merely about avoiding decline. It is about creating a life full of discovery, connection, resilience, and meaning. The path may not be as flashy as a miracle supplement ad, but it is infinitely more powerful, because it is built on real, lasting foundations that truly honor the extraordinary complexity and beauty of the human brain.